To me, poverty hasn't changed. It's stuck in an old day textbook. Not to mention rising costs of energy bills. Life was so much better back then. You wouldn't dream of asking a neighbour for a cup of sugar. The old day slot meter is now a card and a code. What I'd do to be back there again. There was always a friend. How life was different back then. The times we shared, everyone knew everyone, and now it's all gone in a flash. Hard times ahead, uncertain times, and looking for an open door. Full of opportunity and a lifeline to set me free of the modern day rat race. I ask, what would mother do? I know. Hang on in there, my boy. There's room for everyone. You have the strength of a lion. Follow your dreams. Others will follow. Together as one will be the modern day missionary and a fight for change. How I miss those good old days. When I was just a little boy, we didn't have a lot. My mother kept the light on with some silver in a slot. The TV was a rental one. That too was a meter. But when I cast my mind back, life back then seemed so much sweeter. The larder wasn't always full of tasty things to eat, but we didn't notice hunger as we played outside in the streets. Our clothes wasn't always bought from new, but quite often were worn. But we didn't follow fashion, never thought to ask for more. My mother's purse was always empty, except of course for dreams. But she always found some pennies to buy us both ice creams. Our shoes were always measured. Our hair was always neat. I remember she insisted, you must take care of your feet. School uniforms were granted and given by the state. We looked as smart as anyone when we walked through the school gate. In the summer, we'd pick berries from the hedgerows in the fields, our fingers stained with purple delight in our yield. No games consoles to keep us quiet. Our joy was climbing trees, with grass stains on our knees. The place we used to play, we didn't have a single care. As night just followed day, the girls would make their perfumes with petals from the flowers, often getting into hot water because their blooms was never ours. We'd nick the fairy liquid tubs to have a water fight, and on the baking concrete our names we'd always write. We shared our bikes and we'd shared footballs. We used our sweaters as goalposts, and when the bitter winter came, we'd fill buckets with coal. Every single chimney cast a plume into the sky as we huddled up in front of the fire with a meat and potato pie. Scratch your name on the frosty pane before the curtains shut, tucked under a heap of blankets. No choice but to stay put. We never took a holiday, certainly never abroad. A day out in sunny Blackpool we could afford. We'd paddle in the Irish Sea and sit down in the foam and ride a donkey up on the beach and wish we could take it home. Our kitchen was always full of steam from the endless pans of spuds, and we volunteered for washing up to play the games with the suds. We made toast on an open fire. I can taste it to this day, and the dripping salted butter. It seems a half a world away. Every Christmas there was presents underneath our tinsel tree, and always we enjoyed whatever may be. In and out of our houses, up and down the streets, borrowing cups of sugar, we helped each other make ends meet. The house phone was unlocked, so we couldn't run up the bill. And we only tasted Lucozade if we was gravely ill. The doctor saw you on the sofa with a stethoscope and a bag. A week off school was endless if you managed the blag. And when we went to bed at night, that then was mother's time. You'd hear her downstairs singing to Johnny Cash or Patsy Cline. Life back then was infinite. You never could grow old. There was nothing to be frightened of, with mother's hand to hold. Death was never mentioned, too young to understand. It seemed life would just work out the way it planned, but the years had passed in minutes. There's no time to spare. Overnight, the silver threads adorned your mother's hair. Your endless days were over as time raced away at pace, and happy days of innocence disappeared without a trace. Don't waste a single minute of this life, which you are blessed. Things change in a heartbeat. The ride can come to rest. Good times become just memories. Faces fade and smiles are lost. Don't wish away a second. Hang on at any cost. When I was just a little boy, we didn't have a lot. But one day, all of that will be just the greatest gift I've got.